In July of 1958, a former Army officer drove into one of the most dangerous deserts in America. He never came back. More than 60 years later, nobody knows exactly what happened to him. His car was found, his belongings were found, even his footprints were found. But Paul Whipkey himself was never seen again. To this day, his disappearance remains one of the strangest unsolved military mysteries in American history. Paul Whipkey was a former Army lieutenant. He was disciplined, experienced, and accustomed to traveling on his own. Nothing about his background suggested he would simply vanish without a trace. In the summer of 1958, he began a journey through the American Southwest. At some point, that trip brought him to Death Valley, one of the hottest and most unforgiving places in North America. It would be the last place anyone could confirm seeing him alive. Death Valley is not an ordinary desert. Temperatures can become deadly. Water disappears quickly. Distances are difficult to judge. Mountains that appear close may actually be miles away. A single wrong turn can become a life-threatening mistake. For someone traveling alone, even a minor problem can quickly turn into a disaster. At some point, Paul drove deeper into this environment, and then he disappeared. Before looking at theories, let's focus on what investigators actually know. Searchers eventually located Paul's vehicle. The car had been abandoned in a remote section of the desert. It showed no signs of a major crash, no obvious evidence of foul play. Nearby, investigators discovered personal belongings. They also found footprints. The tracks appeared to lead away from the vehicle. Naturally, search teams followed them. They searched the surrounding terrain. They expanded the search area. They looked for any sign that Paul was still alive, but they found nothing. No confirmed sightings, no remains, no explanation, only more questions. The most common explanation is exposure. According to this theory, Paul left his vehicle and attempted to walk for help. At first, that decision might seem reasonable. But deserts can play tricks on people. Extreme heat causes dehydration. Dehydration affects judgment. Confusion follows. People begin making decisions that no longer make sense. Some wander in circles. Others walk farther away from safety without realizing it. If Paul became disoriented, he may have traveled far beyond the search area. Over time, wind and weather could have erased the remaining evidence. This theory explains why the footprints led away from the vehicle. But it doesn't answer every question. Another possibility is far more unusual. What if Paul chose to disappear? Supporters of this theory point out that adults sometimes leave their lives behind voluntarily. Perhaps the abandoned vehicle was meant to mislead investigators. Perhaps he started over somewhere else under a new identity. Perhaps nobody was ever supposed to find him. The problem is evidence. Investigators never discovered records proving that happened. No confirmed sightings surfaced. No documents connected him to a new life. Without evidence, the theory remains speculation. A third explanation focuses on the landscape itself. Death Valley contains dangerous terrain. Mine shafts, deep ravines, remote canyons, and locations that can be difficult to search completely. If Paul left his vehicle and suffered an accident, he could have ended up in an area investigators never examined. Some abandoned mines are incredibly deep. Some canyons are almost impossible to search thoroughly. If an accident occurred in one of these locations, evidence could remain hidden for decades. This theory explains why search teams found so little, but once again, there is no proof. After all these years, the mystery remains unsolved. An abandoned vehicle, footprints leading into the desert, and a man who seemingly vanished. Did Paul Whipkey die from exposure? Did he intentionally disappear, or did something else happen entirely? Nobody knows for certain, And perhaps Death Valley is still keeping the answer hidden. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy military mysteries and unsolved disappearances, consider subscribing for more stories like this one.